We just spent 2 fast-paced days exploring 3 of Belgium's most iconic cities, Bruges, Ghent, and Antwerp, and we packed in quite a lot. Hi, we are Darmish and Kieran from KD Travelers, 2 early retirement slow travelers sharing our journey and knowledge to help others do the same. From medieval squares and canal rides to altar pieces and rooftop views, here's what to see if you've only got 40 hours in Belgium, or if you're just looking for day trips out of Brussels as well. Let's start with Bruges. We caught an early train out from Brussels North, and it was an easy, nice ride, as you can see. Once we arrived in Bruges, we made our way into town. Bruges is straight out of fairy tales. We started in the heart of the city, Grote Market. You'll find colorful gilded halls, bustling cafes, and the towering Belfry of Bruges there. This 13th century bell tower dominates the skyline and offers sweeping views if you're up to the climb. We are told it's about 366 steps to be exact. Now, just a short walk from Grote Market is Burg Square, a smaller, more refined plaza surrounded by stunning architecture. The Gothic City Hall catches your eye first, but what really drew us in was the Basilica of the Holy Blood. It's tucked into a corner of the square and looks modest from the outside, but the inside is something else entirely. The lower chapel is quiet and Romanesque, almost cave-like, while the upper chapel is a burst of gold and stained glass, with vibrant murals and vaulted ceilings. At the far end of the upper chapel is the chapel's namesake relic, a crystal vial said to contain drops of Christ's blood, brought back from the Second Crusade. It's kept in a silver tabernacle and brought out daily for verification. It's a powerful space whether you're religious or not. There's a real sense of reverence here, and design alone is worth the visit. To really see Bruges, you have to get on the water. You'll pass under stone bridges, by hidden gardens, and catch glimpses of private courtyards you can't see on foot. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to do a canal tour, which would have been a relaxing way to get the lay of the land. For a more peaceful side of Bruges, head to Beguinage, a UNESCO-listed site that once housed religious women living in semi-seclusion. Next door is Minnewater Park, known as the Lake of Love. Swans, stones, bridges, and quiet green paths. It's a beautiful contrast to the busy squares. And when you see it in person, you'll understand why. The canal curves gently around the row of beautifully preserved medieval buildings, their brick facades reflected almost perfectly in the still water. Add in a few sweeping willow trees, some soft afternoon light, and it looks like a living postcard. This is the kind of place where time feels like it stands still. It's peaceful, incredibly romantic, and surrounded by centuries of history. It's no surprise this is the photo spot in Bruges. You're in Belgium, you have to stop by at least at one chocolate shop, so we couldn't resist ourselves of hopping into this location here, and trust us, the chocolate was definitely worth it. On the way out of town, we grabbed a waffle from the local pastry shop and then caught the train to Ghent. It's only about 25 minutes away and the trains run all day long. Once we arrived into Ghent, one of the first things we noticed outside the station, bicycles everywhere. Dozens of racks packed with bikes, some stacked on 2 levels even. It immediately gave the city a youthful, energetic vibe. To us, compared to Bruges, Ghent feels more lived in and less polished, but in a good way, we must say. It's a student city with a vibrant atmosphere, creative street art, and a real blend of old and new. We started by doing the first stop at St. Bravo's Cathedral, and from the outside, it's impressive, but the real surprise is once you step inside. The space feels massive, but not overwhelming, with dramatic Gothic arches, richly decorated side chapels, and a striking scene of age and weight. You really feel how layered the history is here, from its medieval foundations to Baroque details added centuries later. It's less about grandeur and more about atmosphere, quiet, moody, and full of character. This isn't the kind of cathedral that tries to impress with gold. It draws you in with its shadows, stone, and silence. If you have time, don't miss Gravenstein, a medieval castle right in the middle of town. Moats, towers, and some pretty wild exhibits inside. This whole area just feels like it was built to be admired. No matter where you look, there's something historic, detailed, and surprisingly grand. A walk along Graslei and Korenlei is one of the most interesting parts of Ghent. These historic quays lie the river Leie, and the canal that runs between them reflects rows of beautifully preserved medieval buildings, some with gabled rooftops that look straight out of the gingerbread village. The architecture here is a layered mix of Gothic and Renaissance styles. Even with its postcard-perfect setting, the area still feels lived in. Cafes spill out onto the cobblestones, students gathered by the water's edge, and boats gently pass through the canal. From St. Michael's Bridge, just steps away, you got one of Ghent's most iconic views, the three towers lined up perfectly across the skyline: St. Nicholas Church, the Belfry, and St. Bravo's Cathedral. And I don't think we've ever seen a bathroom like this outside. Definitely one for the books, but trust me, I wasn't daring enough to give it a try. We even found this very artistic, funky alleyway with lots of graffiti. It was a nice contrast to the other streets, and a good spot maybe just to chill for a bit and check out some of the art. Before heading back to Brussels, we paused for a quiet moment by the canal to take in the atmosphere. Ghent surprised us for sure. It's vibrant and youthful, but full of history and character. We didn't know what to expect from Ghent, but it ended up being a real highlight of the trip. And tomorrow, it's on to Antwerp. Day 2 began the same way. We made our way back to Brussels Nord station and caught a train to Antwerp. The train ride was smooth, and as you can see, the seats were clean and comfortable. The ride took just about 45 minutes, and when we arrived, we were greeted by one of the most jaw-dropping train stations in Europe. Antwerp Central Station is often ranked among the most beautiful in the world, and once you walk inside, you'll see why. The building is a blend of styles. The main hall is grand and cathedral-like, with soaring domes, marble staircases, ornate ironwork, and massive clocks that make it feel like you've stepped into another era. But it's not just a historic monument, it is still a fully functioning station with multiple levels of platforms, a modern glass canopy over the tracks, and an underground tunnel system that adds to a sleek contrast to the 19th century grandeur. If you're arriving by train, give yourself a few extra minutes just to take it all in. It's easily one of the most memorable stations experience we've had. From the station, we walked down Meir Street, the city's main shopping boulevard. Even if you're not shopping, the architecture here is worth admiring. It's a mix of Rococo, Art Nouveau, and the 19th century facades. We then headed to the Cathedral Quarter, one of the most iconic parts of Antwerp. The spire of the Cathedral of Our Lady towers over the city and is visible from almost every direction. At 123 meters tall, it's the tallest church tower in the Benelux region and an unmistakable part of Antwerp's skyline. The cathedral took nearly 2 centuries to complete, and once you step inside, you can see why. It's vast with soaring Gothic arches, intricate stone carvings, and a calm, echoing atmosphere that intensely pulls you in. Brilliant stained glass, ornate altarpieces, and soft candlelight are stunning. This is more than just a landmark, it is the heart of the city. Even if you've seen dozens of cathedrals in Europe, this one still manages to leave an impression. Just nearby is Antwerp's historic square, Grote Market, lined with guildhalls and crowned by the famous Bavo fountain. Legend says Bavo threw a giant's hand into the river, which is how Antwerp got its name. On one side of the square stands the Renaissance-style City Hall. From there, we wandered through the old town's narrow streets, soaking in the layered history, hidden courtyards, and lively energy. Just a few steps from the Cathedral of Our Lady is one of Antwerp's best hidden gems, Song. Blink and you'll miss it. This tiny 16th century alleyway feels like stepping back in time. Cobblestone paths, lantern-lit archways, and ivy-covered walls. It's a complete contrast to the city's streets just outside. Originally built for the shoemakers and the city's poor, today it's a quiet, almost secret spot that most visitors walk right past. Now you'll find a mix of small art galleries, quiet courtyards, and one of the city's most atmospheric restaurants. Here's a fun fact and something that might be useful nowadays. These keyholes were designed so that if you came home a little too tipsy, you were able to still find the hole and get into your house. We literally almost stumbled over this, but how fun is this art installation? It's so cute and amazing. Before heading back to the station, we stopped at the visitor center near Grote Market. Not just for information, but for the rooftop. It's free to access and offers some of the great panoramic views over the city's rooftops and the river. It was a peaceful spot to pause and take in Antwerp's one last time. From the spires and the squares to the port in the distance, the city really does unfold beneath you. As we headed back to the center, we stopped for a quick lunch before walking back to the train station. We caught our train back to Brussels, tired, inspired, and already talking about which city we'd come back to first. Antwerp was the perfect way to wrap up a 2-day adventure, art, architecture, and a few surprises along the way. If you're visiting Belgium, we would highly recommend it as a day trip. We covered a lot of ground, but each city had its own personality. Bruges was romantic and serene, Ghent was artistic and energetic, and Antwerp was bold, stylish, and a little surprising. Let us know in the comments which one you'd love to explore, and if you've visited these cities before, let us know which one was your favorite. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for more travel content. Until next time, let's travel together.